We have the living entities have the tendency to cheat. But ultimately you can't cheat Krishna. You can try. Trust me. The tendency is to actually try and cheat Krishna. And there's a whole system of the Vedas where, okay, if I do this ritual, I do this, that, and the other, I get what I want. And essentially I've got it. I conquered God in essence. But ultimately, the more you learn about the Vedic process, the less you're actually interested in all the stuff. The less you're interested in all of the shiny things in the midst of this giant universe that we're a part of. What is the ultimate goal? What is the ultimate purpose of life? That's explained in the Vedas. The Vedic conclusion is that. But we read a verse yesterday that the less intelligent, they gravitate towards the flowery words of the Vedas. Oh, if you do this, you can get good karma. You can get this benediction, this benediction. We got a demigod just for that. Why don't you worship Indra? You can get the relationship you can want. Why don't you worship Lord Shiva? You can get this. Why don't you worship Lord Brahma? You can get this boon or that boon and the other boon. But ultimately, there's a distinct goal, a distinct pathway the Vedic canon is trying to lead you towards. And that's first, how to overcome suffering. That's like step one. There's a peace formula in Bhagavad Gita. I could share it with you, but that's not the verse that I want to talk about today. I want to talk about the cheating propensity. But there's a peace formula. It's the end of chapter 5. 529 is the verse. If you want to just be at peace, you study this verse and you could be at peace. So chapter 5, text 29 in Bhagavad Gita. But anyway, we're going to read Bhagavad Gita and then I'll let you know. So follow along. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Very good. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. All right. Aha. Chapter 3, text 6. So, the peace formula, if you want to be at peace, is in chapter 5, text 29. But this verse that we're going to focus on today, the cheating verse, this is chapter 3, text 6. 3, 6. So, okay, repeat after me. Karmendriyani samyamya ya aste manasasmaran indriyarthan vimudatma mithyachara sa uchyate. Let's hear it from Adya. Karmendriyani samyamya ya aste manasa smaran indriyarthan vimudatma mithyachara sa uchyate. Let's hear from Gopikanta.
Karmendriyani samyamya.
Karmendriyani samyamya. Ya aste manasa smaran. Indriyarthan vimudhatma. Mithyachara sa uchyate. Repeat after me. Karma indriyani. The 5 working sense organs. Samyamya. Controlling. Ya. Anyone who. Aste. Remains. Manasa. By mind. Smaran. Thinking. Indriya arthan. Sense objects. Vimudha. Foolish. Atma. Soul. Mithya achara. Oh, it's mithya achara, sorry. Pretender. Saha. He. Uchyate is called. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. One who restrains the senses and organs of action, but whose mind dwells on sense objects, certainly deludes himself and is called a pretender. Purport. There are many pretenders who refuse to work in Krishna consciousness, but make a show of meditation, while actually dwelling within the mind upon sense enjoyment. Such pretenders may also speak on dry philosophy, in order to bluff sophisticated followers. But according to this verse, these are the greatest cheaters. For sense enjoyment, one can act in any capacity of the social order. But if one follows the rules and regulations of his particular status, he can make gradual progress in purifying his existence. But he who makes a show of being a yogi, while actually searching for the objects of sense gratification, must be called the greatest cheater. Even though he sometimes speaks of philosophy, his knowledge has no value, because the effects of such a sinful man's knowledge are taken away by the illusory energy of the Lord. Such a pretender's mind is always impure, and therefore his show of yogic meditation has no value whatsoever. It's a very heavy verse, because anyone who is sincerely practicing in their spiritual life will probably be like, oh crap, that's me. Oh shoot. So we're going to talk about two groups of people today. The person who's taken to a spiritual process, and then the person who might not even know at all, they're doing all the activities that the cheater in yoga is meditating on anyway. But they don't know, not really necessarily not to do it. So we're going to talk about both things, because we might have a group of both classes in the room. Those who realize the error of our ways, or in the Christian theology it'd be like the error of sin, and then those of us who might not even know at all, like, oh, what's a sin? We all know that there are some sins, right? But we'll maybe break down some of the sins and why they're sins and so on. So let's begin. But before we begin, because I'm a cheater, unfortunately, I'm going to seek the mercy of those who are not cheaters. And then maybe I can say something that's not cheating. So please, please bless me to invoke their mercy. So it's found on page 1. It's a Mangala Charana. These are some prayers offered to the gurus, and to make a humble attempt to connect. So I'm not speaking anything. I was listening to a class on Srila Prabhupada the other day that the subject matter was perfect knowledge comes from a perfect person. And so ultimately, what makes someone a guru or someone qualified to speak on anything actually is that they heard what they spoke from an authority. So that they're not like making something up or philosophizing, or theorizing, that they are spoken. So he says even a child, if he heard something bona fide from the father and he goes around speaking it, he's actually a bona fide source of information, even if it's a child. He might not know anything. Like there was one child that was part of the movement. Some of the devotees who actually got the Beatles involved to the Hare Krishna movement. They had a child, I forget which two, but I think it was Shyam Sundar and Malati, I believe so. And they had a child named Saraswati. And Prabhupada used to be so pleased because Saraswati would go around to people and she'd say, Krishna's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. She heard that from her devotee parents and Prabhupada. But she would go around giving this truth that she knew. And actually she was right, she was an authority on that subject matter. Who's the Supreme Personality of Godhead? She says Krishna, and oh, she's right. If you ask her why and to expand upon that, maybe she's not the authority on all those subject matters. But anyway, she is an authority. So anyhow, I'm going to humbly try to speak only that which I have heard from actual authorities. And then that would, in essence, make the message that I'm carrying a non-cheating message. But as soon as I try to make something else up or put my own spin on things, then then it will be cheating. So you should check my work. Okay? So you can chant together. It's found on page 1. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamayam Dinati Svavadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunath Vanditam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Harijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Krishna Kambetamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radhakanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhani Sute Devi Pranamami Priye Panchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubheva Cha Bhaktitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamini Te Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashtaya Deshatarine Jai. So again, are we cheaters? That's the subject matter. What is your name, my friend? Ayush.
I'm a friend of Prakash.
Okay. Oh, I have been waiting for you. I have been waiting for you. You're supposed to do some laundry here.
No, I'm done.
You're done with the laundry now. So anyhow, I've been waiting for you. So I'm so happy that you came. So very nice, Ayush. Thank you. Paloma, welcome. I saw you snuck in there as well. So very good. And Tanmay and Piyush, I'm very happy to see your smiling faces too. And Parth, move over so I can see you. No. You scoot next to Mukunda so I can see you. Very good. All right. So again, one who restrains the senses and organs of action, but whose mind dwells on sense objects, certainly deludes himself and is called a pretender. So we do this a lot of times. The first part of a spiritual practice is you start to control your senses. You start to control your urges that you have always existed on. Basically, the religious practices of the world, these are what differentiates a human being and an animal. An animal, they see something, they immediately want it. They run and they take it. Like, for instance, who here has had a dog in their life? Am I the only one who's had a dog? So if you have a dog, if you just leave food out on the table and you expect, no, you don't touch that food, you're kind of not that smart. That dog will come there and he will eat that food. I had a husky. I still have a husky. He's alive. He's with my parents. Thank God. I can't take care of him, what I'm doing now in my life. But anyhow, that dog is very, very, as soon as the instinct comes, he runs. He'll run right to it. And so he's like that, he sees a lady dog, he immediately is going to try and pursue the lady dog. There's no hesitation for him. But it's not just dogs. All animals, they're off of the instinct. And unfortunately, most of us, especially in this age of Kali Yuga, we're what's called Dviparupashu. We're basically two-legged animals. But those more sophisticated human beings, they're not so instinct-driven. They understand that there's higher principles, and these are the practicing spiritualists. They know that there's rules that they should, we all know this, right? If we see a lady, the more sophisticated man doesn't immediately run up, like a dog panting, like, what can I do for you? There's an art to courting, so to say. But anyhow, this is there's rules. There's actual rules to how to actually get success and be what's called sophisticated. I tried to cross civilized and sophisticated together. But civilized or sophisticated. So anyhow, there's spiritual practices in the Ashtanga yoga system. These are called yamas and niyamas. These are rules that you have to live by. It's not about just like following rules. We're not just here like, Richa, I'm very happy to see you. So, very good, Richa. Long time. Too long. Hopefully I see you tomorrow at Mangalarti. Mangalarti is only at 5:30 in the morning, so it's no problem. She can make it. So, no pressure, but a little pressure. So anyhow, there are actual rules. And so I'm going to talk about the main rules that Srila Prabhupada, just so it's not like, these are the rules that Ram Dass made up at the Sunday program. These are given by Srila Prabhupada, 4 main rules that is recommended. And then even if you follow all those rules, but still you're meditating like this verse on breaking all the rules, or how you wish you could do this, break this rule, break that rule, break this rule, you're just a cheater, and you're just a pretender. And in the beginning, that's often what you are. And that's okay, as long as you strive to overcome that phase. This phase of Hare Krishna, but in the mind, like, oh, that lady's so nice. Or Hare Krishna, in the mind, I really can't wait to eat this later. In the mind, it's all about enjoying the senses. Because ultimately, what we're supposed to do when we're chanting kirtan, what we're supposed to do when we're having spiritual practice and meditation, is to overcome the bodily misconception, thinking that I am this body and that the things of this world and that the body can interact with, this is what gives pleasure. We talked about in the beginning of class, what really gives pleasure is our divine connection. That's what yoga is. Who here has done yoga before? Am I the only one who's done yoga? I have a nice memory of me and Ben doing yoga in the garage together. Fine memory. And me and Michael will do yoga tomorrow together. We all are doing yoga every day. You've all done yoga, because this is what we do here, bhakti yoga. But yoga actually means to link or to connect. So to do yoga isn't just like, well, how's my extended side angle, or this and that. This is not yoga. This could maybe facilitate keeping a healthy body so you can practice yoga, no doubt. But that's not itself yoga. Yoga it means to link or to connect. So in this section of the Bhagavad Gita is labeled karma yoga. The yoga of activities, linking our actions to the Lord. And this is a lot of what Srila Prabhupada recommends in the beginning of the Krishna consciousness. Because we're not really so qualified to take it much deeper than that. So just whatever you're doing, just offer it to Krishna. Whatever it is you do, no problem. You're a postman, you're a hypnotist. Peter's a hypnotist. That's pretty cool. Anyway, offer it to Krishna. Hypnotize people into getting into Krishna consciousness. I'm actually trying to do that to you guys right now. I'm also a practicing hypnotist. I'm not very successful, but maybe Peter is really successful. Yes. Take Krishna consciousness. Whatever it is, this is very good. So anyhow, but, we have to be very careful that all right, I'm going to take these practices, I'm going to meditate, I'm going to worship the Lord, but what's going on in the head, like it says here, you might stop doing the activities. Like, all right, I'm going to give up eating meat. that's usually a pretty easy one to give up. At least for me it was, because I already kind of realized why to give up meat. Because it's not very nice. It's not very nice to kill somebody and eat their body, you know. So, right? How would you feel, Claire, if somebody killed you and ate your body? Or wanted to do that to you?
If they wanted to do that.
Yes, like if Michael, you found out Michael, that's what he was thinking about. You'd avoid Michael. Hopefully get him locked up or something. Anyhow, what's that? I think they do stuff like that. They could.
They kill people and then eat your body?
I don't know if that's they're. Yeah, they'll take some flesh, but I don't know if they're. I'm not so. They're like mystics. They have
They're
like.
still doing it in a spiritual kind of different.
Yeah, they have some process, but anyhow, it's not recommended in the Vedic understanding to eat meat. Why? Because it's not very nice. It's not very nice to kill something and eat it unnecessarily. Yes.
But isn't even eating vegetables and grains and beans, we're still killing them?
Sure. Well, you don't have to. Like actually, a bean, you're not killing the plant. A lot of vegetables, like the Jains, for instance. Do I have any practicing Jains in here? We had a Jain clan. They were coming. But they're not here today. But they actually don't eat any root vegetables for that exact reason, because they don't want to take out the vegetable at the root. But like something like a bean or a grain or a fruit doesn't kill the host. It's actually, you're helping it actually spread its seed. It's like their seeds. So anyhow, there are ways, and actually you find a lot of those things that don't kill the original host. Those are the things that Krishna recommends we eat and offer. Even like, for instance, what animal products are we allowed to have are milk and honey. That's about it. Milk products and honey. Why? Because you don't have to kill the host animal. You can nicely take it and utilize it and offer it to Krishna and others. But that being said, even if you do say, when you grow vegetables, all your plants are going to die anyway. So might as well take, your potatoes, which might kill the potato plant, and offer it to Krishna, because the cold's coming anyway and they're going to die. So like that. But yes, that is there. So that is the emphasis on why we offer that which we have, because you're still getting karma from, if you just, think the whole world is for you to dominate, which is our tendency. We just think, how can I extract whatever I want out from the world? This is the tendency of us. But this is not what this world is. This world is a gift. This body is a gift. We think, how can I extract as much pleasure out of this body? And what are the avenues of pleasure? The tongue, the belly, and the genitals. How do I extract as much pleasure from the body? And, we have to actually evaluate ourselves. Are we cheating? Even if we're practicing Krishna consciousness, is sense gratification still the prime objective of why I do that which I do? And if you are sincere in the beginning of your Krishna conscious practice, you will absolutely find the answer is yes, I am a cheater. So how do we stop cheating? Well, we have to meet someone who knows how to not cheat, who's gone through that cheating process and has overcome that. And this is the importance of a guru. This is the importance of also sadhus, those who are who've succeeded in this practice. And maybe they cheat less, or maybe they figured out how to overcome cheating altogether. And that's the ideal guru, who's completely become perfected by their perfect guru, and so on. And it's a disciplic succession. So there's 3 pillars to how to not be a cheater. So does anyone know what's the most important pillar? Who's got a guess?
Truth.
The truth?
Truth.
Where do you find the truth?
I'm just saying. Be truthful.
Yes, but how do you learn to be truthful? Where is the truth found? This is this pillar. Yes, the scriptures. No, the most important, Tanmay got it. It's the scriptures, the Shastra, the revelations of either the Lord himself, which is what a scripture is, either what is the Lord given, or, oh, Summer. Is that Summer? Yes. Hare Krishna. Shweta, please come in. By the way, next Saturday, we're all going to Oswego to Shweta's house. Brijesh, come on in. We're all going to Shweta's house to have a kirtan and bhakti yoga program. So if you're liking Oswego on a Saturday, please come join us there. So we're talking about the cheating process, how we can take to a spiritual practice, or sometimes we can be so bold to say, yes, I'm very spiritual. Oh, I'm a Christian, I'm a Hindu, I'm Jewish, I practice this. We say like this, but what does it actually mean to practice? This is a whole other thing. So, this verse, remember, karmendriyani samyamya yaste manasa smaran indriyarthan vimudhatma mityacharasa uchyate. One who restrains the senses and organs of action, but whose mind dwells on sense objects, certainly deludes himself and is called a pretender. So maybe, I'll give you maybe that's a little bit of a crude example. I'll avoid that one. Never mind. But let's just say, we're on a weight loss plan. I need to get on a weight loss plan. And so you go on your diet, and I'm only eating khichdi for the next 3 months. And that's all you eat. And then eventually you lose some weight. But the whole time, I can't wait to eat this. I can't. Immediately my mind thought of dates. I like dates. I can't wait to eat dates, and I can't wait to eat cookies and cakes and things like this. Eventually what's going to happen is that you might lose some weight. You might, just like in your spiritual practice, I'm going to stop eating meat, I'm going to stop engaging in illicit sex life, I'm going to stop engaging this, that, and the other. But then eventually, if you're always just thinking about it, where do you think is going to happen later on? You're just going to run to it as soon as it's available, as soon as it becomes available. A lot of people are practicing spiritual life because they want something from God. They want those things anyway. All right, very popular is the attraction between ladies and men, and so I did like this. This is how I found my wife. I was a cheater, and I was, praying to Krishna, so that, there she is. This is my fruit. I was praying to Krishna that, please figure this one out. And he did, and he figured it out in a very nice way. But the actual responsibility of having a wife is teaching me and now child is coming. Oh yeah, should I have done this? Okay. My voice is loud enough? Okay. So that's usually the case. So, but this is ultimately what we do. We take to spiritual life, but we have a motivated agenda. And it says in the Bhagavatam that you can't find true happiness like this. You can't find happiness if you have these external motivations. Like, well, I just want to enjoy this thing, that thing, and the other thing. And actually, in this verse, even if you restrain the senses and organs of action, but you're thinking about how you can get these in the future, you're actually a pretender and a cheater. So I'm not speaking like this to you all so harshly. Krishna is saying. But anyhow, whether you're a pretender like myself, or you maybe are just a person who doesn't know much about spiritual life, we can all benefit from understanding what are the main recommendations not to do in the Vedas, and then why. And then we can see if that helps our tendency to gravitate towards those things. So, meat eating, I said that one already. Why is that not a good idea? What's the Vedic principle? What? Ahimsa. Yes. Often they say there are 4 pillars of there's 4 pillars of virtue in living a wholesome spiritual life that's recommended for all human beings. And the first one is to be merciful. So a part of that is ahimsa, not being violent, not being cruel. But we should be merciful. We should, especially though in that's like if Meghna were to trip over her leg or over one of these or something like this and fall on the ground, if we all just started to laugh at her, that would be no one better. Richa, why are you laughing? Anyhow, this is not good. We shouldn't laugh if that were to happen.
You have to ask if she's okay first. Then
Yes, maybe so. But anyhow, this is not merciful. So someone who falls in a less fortunate position than us, we shouldn't be mean to them. You know, like at school, you know, if someone is mean to someone else, Summer, you shouldn't join along with that person. Because at school they do like that. You know, sometimes other kids are mean to other kids. I know I got bullied a lot, and then I bullied a lot because that's what I learned when I was a kid. But it's not good. If you want to be pleasing to God, it's not good. You should have mercy on those who are in a less fortunate situation from you. So that's why you would not eat meat, because it's not merciful. It's not merciful to those animals. It's not merciful even to give money to people who are doing like this and to support such a thing. So anyway, that's a pretty easy one, because everyone understands that, oh yeah, I don't want to be butchered and someone eat my body. So, you know, like Jesus teaches, to love others as you treat others as you'd want to be treated. So obviously you don't want to be butchered and put on somebody's plate and eaten, so it's pretty easy to understand why you shouldn't do that to others, including the animals, whether they're a pig or a dog or not, it doesn't matter. So that's one. So to be merciful. What other rules are there the Prabhupada gives? It's a quiz. You tell me, Adya. No gambling. This one is very good. What's the virtue behind that one? Does anyone know? Cheating? Yes. Yes, deceit. But what is the virtue? That's the... Yeah, honesty. Honesty. To be, yes. Well, greed will stem from it, but the virtue is honesty. We want to be honest. This is very, very important. And I would like to fully be free in this level myself, to be honest. To be fully honest in our activities, our dealings. And so, this is why Prabhupada, he says no gambling, because these are dishonest practices. You know, like for instance, if you go to a casino, let's just say, the casino has dishonestly rigged a system that any game you play, they always have a better chance to win. I used to go to casinos, and I researched that the best chance that you could get is a 49-point-something% chance if you play blackjack. That's your best chance of having an honest go at the casino. I shouldn't tell you guys these things and encourage. But anyhow, yeah, it's always designed to make you lose money. They've rigged the system. And if you figure out how to win money in the casino, they kick you out. So this is, so obviously, and gambling doesn't just mean the casino. It can mean the stock market. It can mean taking unnecessary risks, the lottery, this, that, and the other thing. These are actually gambling with ultimately that which is God's resources. So this is usually not the most emphasized one, but actually the virtue is so important, to be honest. The virtue is so important, and you know, I pray that we can find deeper levels of honesty, that we can find deeper levels of mercy, because yeah, maybe we don't eat meat, but maybe someone less fortunate than us, we have the tendency to want to belittle them, or maybe someone less fortunate than us, we like seeing people's misfortune. This is actually on a very low level place. This is the conditioned nature, where we actually like to see, oh, as long as you're less fortunate than I am, I'm good. Why? Because we're envious. We don't like when people are in a better situation than us. This is actually this has to deal with the conditioned nature, where we're, you know, cheaters and like sinful, you know, as the English word would be. So obviously we shouldn't, we should learn mercy, we should learn honesty. What's another rule Prabhupada recommends?
Illicit sex.
Illicit sex. What's the virtue? Does anyone know?
Cleanliness.
Cleanliness is the virtue. and cleanliness extended to that. There's all kinds of rules for cleanliness. Showering, even multiple times a day. Internal cleanliness, Prabhupada recommends when talking about this virtue in the 13th chapter. Why we chant the Maha Mantra, it's said to Cheto Darpana Marjanam, it cleanses the mirror of the heart. Instead of, our whole consciousness should be cleansed. We have so much, dirty things. You don't just consume things through your mouth. That's one way you consume things, but through your ears, through your eyes. What am I watching? What am I listening to? What kind of environment and stimulus am I taking in? Is it clean? Now, some of it's inevitable. You're saying, well, I got to go to school. I got to go to work. What do I do? Whatever you can to purify the atmosphere. Whatever you can. Even if that's just chanting in your mind. Even if it's just chanting the names of God in your mind. You can purify any atmosphere this way. But we have to keep a very clean consciousness. Now, part of that is cleaning the body. Now, back to the Prabhupada's prohibition, illicit sex. It's not clean. In many ways. One, the sexual act in itself is not very clean. What did they say in the West? Doing the dirty, right? So I'm going to do the nasty or do the dirty. No. We don't want to be dirty. We want to be clean. But that being said, there is a proper way to do it. It's not that the Vedas, they give us no hope. There is a way, and that is ultimately through marriage, the institution of marriage, and even in marriage, there's ways to properly behave with your significant other. Every one of us got here through the sexual principle. This is how everything is bringing, even like plants. When we eat grains and beans and fruits, that's the plants spreading of the seed and what is that? Procreation, right? So this is there, but to get married and to have children, ultimately, how to curb. And actually, I'll give you a really nice example. My wife is pregnant, so you can say congratulations if you'd like. You don't have to. But I'll tell you what, when now that she is pregnant, it's an absolute no-no to engage in this type of activity during a pregnancy. Also, we saw how close, the baby is to everything. You would never. I'm like horrified that modern doctors tell you to do these things if you want to get better results but it's very much a no-no in the Vedas. Don't do that to the baby. It's like a big no-no. Anyhow, so. By performing the practice and following the rules, you control your senses naturally. But this is an act of cleanliness. There's all kinds of rules that you cannot, properly worship the deity or do any formal worship practices after engaging in these type of activities. So especially there's so much psychological things happening. Like in the West, it's very prominent. Virginity is not maintained till marriage of both men and women. In the East, it's a little bit more prominent. But with Kali Yuga progressing, it's getting less and less available. But anyhow, there's so many psychological things that happen when men and women come together. So many psychological things. It's actually well known in the Vedas that if the first man that a woman is ever with, she'll always love that man. Did I say that right? The first man that a woman is with, she'll always love that man, because there's something psychological that happens, and I can't explain it. I don't necessarily want my wife to explain it. But anyhow, but yeah, this is mentioned, and so if you illicitly take that and defile that just if you marry somebody and that's the first, and you become the first person, she'll always. It's said that she'll always love you. She'll always love you, which is why probably the Muslims, when they say that they have 72 virgins waiting for them in heaven. That's probably one of the benefits, like 72 women who will love you for the whole time. So, what's that? Yeah, okay. Let's just say it is that there's 72 virgins, but yes, why? Who knows? But this is, virgins were always sought after throughout history. Why? Because the illicit sex is actually a nice situation. At least, for a certain phase of life. So anyway, that's one. But we want to be clean. The main virtue is cleanliness. How can we be clean in our life? How can we have a clean life? What am I thinking? What are my goals and ambitions? Are my goals and ambitions clean? You could even look at that. Are my goals and ambitions honest? Are my goals and ambitions merciful? For the welfare of others. Look at all these virtues. If all of them are present, you're in good shape. If even one is missing, try to find a way to get it in there. And then what's the last? What's intoxication? What's the virtue between not taking intoxication?
Self-control.
Yes. What's that called? What's another word for that? Starts with an A.
Austerity.
Austerity. Austerity is the virtue. To be disciplined. This is very important. Even many of you, Parth back there is a PhD, and I see every day Parth is very disciplined. He gets up the same time every day, and he does his morning duties here, and then he's off all day, to do his work. It takes discipline to get anything in life. All of the big success people, business, it doesn't matter what you do. If you're not disciplined, you're not going to get it. The more discipline, and that especially is true in spiritual life as well. If you want to taste the fruits of spiritual life, which is really higher and higher states of bliss forever, literally forever. But if you want that, you have to be disciplined. You can't have no discipline. So, what's one of the lacks of discipline is taking intoxication. We just have a few drinks, and next thing you know, your discipline's right out the window. And then you're like, I'm going to embarrass my wife slightly here. But I'll counter it with, equally embarrassing stories of myself. But I remember when I met her, and she had told me why she had stopped drinking. And she was a vegetarian for many years. And for whatever reason, she went out drinking with her friends and was convinced. And she said the reason she stopped was that she woke up in the morning and realized that she had vomited all over. Oh, she didn't remember anything. But when some of her friends told her what had happened, that she had vomited gas station chicken all over the all over the bathroom. And so sorry. So yeah, when you take intoxications, these are the type of things that snowball. You could be a vegetarian. How long were you practicing?
I was a vegan for like 5 years.
He was like a vegan for 5 years, but if you give enough alcohol, there it goes. So there's so many things. People do crazy things on drugs. I know, because I'll now embarrass myself, I've taken so many drugs. I'm sorry. I keep forgetting we have children. I've done so many things that I should not have done. And in those times, the weird considerations that I had under the influence of these things aren't clean, aren't merciful, just really strange. So intoxication should not be done, because you will lose all your virtues with these intoxications. Many of them are just straight poison. Most intoxications are poison. I used to like, I don't really want to incriminate myself so badly, but I used to like these special mushrooms that, if you take them, you can experience certain things. They're literally poison. That's literally the whole experience, is it's poisoning you. Another one people do, I never did this one, is, I think you did this one. Yeah. Yeah, alcohol is the most popular. Yeah, it's straight poison. It's toxic.
no benefit at
Well,
all, no.
the word intoxication means in bringing toxicity into yourself. That's what intoxication means. And yet people like so interested in I'm going to poison myself. But if you say, I'm going to poison you, Piyush, you'd be so offended. What do you mean you're going to poison me? Never mind, I'll just go to the liquor store and poison myself. But we do this, and we're so excited to, at least the college kids, they're so excited to poison themselves. Why? I mean, I did it too when I was in college. Doesn't make those were dark years of my life, actually. I know I wasn't happy. I thought it would make me happy, but that's the fool's happiness. Oh, I'm going to poison myself today. Maybe this will make me happy. What's that?
Lots of reasons, societal pressures. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
Budweiser ad outside, just open the door.
Yeah. No, it's there's lots of reasons, but with any good sense, there's no good reason. If you've heard, I kind of appreciate this. I thought they were so annoying when I was in school doing these DARE programs, but I was glad that they told me why not to do drugs. I'm like, oh, that was kind of valuable information amongst a ton of not valuable information. So anyhow, these 4 pillars are very important. And if you are a practicing spiritualist, which I believe you all must be to some degree, or you wouldn't come to a spiritual program, these things, we have to figure out how to cleanse the mind of these things. And the more you take spiritual things and put them into your consciousness, the more your mind will have clean things and won't be dwelling on the other things. I'll admit I've been practicing for 8 years, 9 years, and still the mind, so many unclean things still remain. I have a lot of work to do. But it's lessened significantly by practice. It's lessened significantly. But there still are very much unclean things present. And so any sincere person, if you think you're perfect, good luck. Or like, no, I'm pretty good. I just gotta do a little tinker, good luck. But it's any sincere person will realize if they're in this world, it's because there's a lot of uncleanliness in the mind. You can notice if you're making advancement with how you treat others. Somebody in a less fortunate situation than you, if you're naturally merciful to them, that means good. You're actually, that's advanced. The tendency to want to, kind of pick on them or, something like that, or belittle them, this is the lack of advancement. How you treat your peers. If you are very much always trying to compete with your peers, that means actually you need a lot of work to do still. But if you are trying to be friends with your peers, those in your similar status in life, that means that some advancement has been made. And your superiors. If you're envious of your superiors, oh, well, why do they have like that? Why do people respect them? If you're envious of your superiors, you have a lot of advancement to make still. But if actually you respect your superiors and you want to serve and learn from them, then you've made advancement. These are from the Bhagavad. I'm not making them up, these things. So this is what the wise do. So anyhow, these are just some things. I think I'll end here and see if there's a question or discussion point or anything that you guys might have that has come up. Don't be a cheater. If you are practicing, don't think that, oh, well, I'll just make it look good on the outside, but internally all the things that are there. And I think that's going to be fine like that. It's not, it can't remain like that. You're going to have to do something. And actually you have to meet. It has to be given by, remember what I said at the beginning. Vishnu says that one who says they're a devotee of me is what? Kind of, but what is the words he used? That's the translation. What's that part? Yeah, he's not my devotee. He's not my devotee. But one who is what is his devotee? A devotee of his devotee is a devotee. Very good, Tejasvini.
Did you say the Dasanu Dasa? This is from Dasanu. Is that from Chaitanya Charitamrita?
That's from Chaitanya Charitamrita. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he's very famous for in ecstasy at the Ratha Yatra, screaming out, I only know the English paraphrase, but I'm not a sannyasi, I'm not a vanaprastha, which is like a retired person, I'm not a grahastha, I'm not a brahmachari, I'm not a Brahmin, I'm not a Kshatriya, I'm not a Vaishya, I'm a Shudra, nor a Shudra. I am just Das Anudas Anudas, means I'm the servant of the servant of the servant of the servant. And I think it was of the gopis who were ultimately the servant of Krishna, but I have to check. Yes. So, but this is kind of the mood. We have to become servants of the servants. If you really are interested in becoming connected to God, you have to become the servant of His servants. And if your mind is on all kinds of other things, like your phone, or the things on your phone, or your, or so many things that are always distracting us, good luck. But you are not going to, the Shastras say what awaits you, and it's not so good. So, but you should try. If you just anyone who's sincere is guaranteed success. But we have to actually be sincere. You know, there's so much emphasis on guru, guru, guru. How do I find a guru? What does it mean to be a disciple first? You can't actually take shiksha if you're not a proper shishya. So even if, the guru was right in front of your face, you wouldn't be able to even see, or you wouldn't even be able to do anything about it, because you're not the proper person to receive knowledge. So anyhow, try your best not to cheat, and yeah, be sincere. If you do have a problem, and you can't, I really appreciated some of, so many of the mentors I've had where I pretty much told them, this is how I want to cheat, and I don't know what to do about it. And they gave me solutions that I still use today. Find someone who's overcome that problem that you're looking to overcome. So they'll probably have a solution, how they did it. And so we don't have to go into grotesque details. I don't need to, everybody's a private person when the door is shut. But at the end of the day, Krishna sees all. He knows all. He knows your heart. He knows, well, look, I'm wearing robes and a sheet, and Hare Krishna, but if I'm thinking about, like, ladies, this, that, and the other thing, what good? What good is it? So anyhow, yeah, anything from you guys before our final kirtan? Shweta?
I have a question.
Yes.
So we all know, that we do, have some qualities or not qualities, but some things which we struggle.
Yes.
Right? First step, very important step, is to recognize that is a problem.
Yes.
But once we do recognize it, what could be some of the strategies? I know you shared two of those. They, try to find somebody who has struggled with it and see how they do it. But what could be some other ones? Because first of all, it takes strong will to accept that yes, this is a problem.
Yes,
Like
yes.
I'll share mine. I like to indulge, and then I will eat.
Yes, yes.
And that's a problem.
This is the most popular one.
What is it? Good food, and I am there.
Yeah, good food.
But then I suffer afterwards.
Of course, yes. This is the nature. Actually, this is the most popular one. And Prabhupada, he has said in Kali Yuga, one of the symptoms is that if a living entity just feels that they've eaten nicely today, they feel like, that's it, life is complete. Oh, I've eaten good today, that's it. I don't care what's happened, You could be like homeless on the street, but I ate good today, no problem. You know, so this is one of the symptoms of Kali Yuga. That's the biggest one for myself, the biggest one. So there's 3 strategies, and you know how you get to the truth. You know, one, if you hear the messages of Krishna, well, there's a verse. Shrinvatam swakata Krishna punya shravana kirtana vidyantastohya bhadrani vidhunoti sahitsatam. And that means Sri Krishna, who's the Paramatma, the super soul in the heart of each living entity, and the benefactor of the truthful devotee. And you're truthful because you recognize I have a problem. You're truthful. Cleanses the heart of material desire, which may be the desire to indulge and enjoy through the senses, namely the tongue. Cleanses the heart of material desire of the devotee who has developed the urge to hear his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. So the strategy would be develop the urge instead of to necessarily engage with the senses, which might be indulging or, you know, and anything, watching movies, develop the urge to hear the messages of Krishna. And what are the receptacles of the messages of Krishna? They're found in the Shastras, like Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and so on. They're spoken by sadhus, those who know the truth. And the most effective method is finding the most compelling and the most inspirational sadhu you can find and accepting them as a guru. And you know, realizing this is the type of person I want to be like. Or this is the type of person who has realized the truth in such a substantial way that I want to serve this person and hear from this person. And then that's the Vedic strategy, is to hear the scriptures. And also, we're doing now, this is called sadhu sangha. We're trying to do sadhu sangha. We're trying to be people who have realized the truth and to share these truth with others. It's a humble attempt, and unfortunately, we only have so much to give, only ability to even give. But we're giving what we can. So anyhow, this is, from what I know, this is the number one strategy is, you know, regularly hearing the message of Krishna. And who's going to share that message? It's the sadhus and ultimately a guru. That's the most fortunate situation. I was listening to a Prabhupada lecture. You could do that too. You can go on YouTube, just Prabhupada lecture. I've been doing my yoga practice, my exercise routine every day, and I just listen to Prabhupada for like an hour plus straight. And it's just so amazing for the consciousness, so cleansing to the consciousness. Because if I had all kinds of things that I was thinking about, you know, my cheating propensities were coming and attacking me, he'd smash it. He'll just smash it with the truth, and you're just like, oh, wow, I'm totally dumb, you know. So like that, try and associate your consciousness with the messages of Krishna and those who share that message. And if you can get the personal association of sadhus and a guru, that's the best. It's called sadhu sangha. It's so important. So, is that helpful? Any last thing before kirtan? What's that? Yes, we have some sadhus coming. One of the features of this place is we want to invite sadhus and invite you know, more advanced practitioners than ourselves and share them with you guys, and so you can hear from them as well. We have one coming in May, Prem Prayojan Prabhu, and you were very happy last time he came. So that was the reaction to associating with him last time.
The second to last weekend of May.
Yes, and,
May.
yes, and we have
April.
yeah, in the spring it's confirmed.
I think,
So we have a Mataji who's taking to the renounced. Mataji means like sweet mother, like a senior lady monk as well coming. It looks like April, is it?
Yeah, like
April 20th. We might be having the baby right around that time, but no problem. She'll still come. So anyhow, and we have a few others that have promised and want to come. We should have Bhagavad Ashray and his wife coming again, and we want to invite Vaisheshika Prabhu as well, and me and Adya and my wife, we should talk about how we can actually do this very soon, set up the Zoom meeting that we should. And yeah, so like that, this is very important to get senior guidance. And so, yeah, that's the best strategy. Anything else? Are you all inspired to be less cheaters than you are?
Well,
Yes.
It sounds like we should just be honest with ourselves first of all, right?
Of course.
And humility sounds like it's pretty much the bottom line of this whole beginning thing.
Yeah, you should. If you're not humble, there's no chance. You know, if you.
It sounded like your bottom line pretty much of the whole thing. Like if you're not humble, you're pretty much not going to attain any of these.
Yeah, that's what I meant by good luck. You know. So that's the. That's it. If we're not humble, you know, like I went to Alcoholics Anonymous. I didn't have an alcohol problem, but I went because the law at one time forced me to go. And interestingly enough, you know, recognizing that you have a problem was such a key ingredient. But actually, I think their number one is belief in a higher power. It's their number one thing. Because if you don't believe in a higher power than yourself, then you're screwed. There's nothing that can help you.
You do it by yourself.
Yeah, and so, and they kept failing by themselves. Similarly, we all have problems, and the reason we have problems is we're trying to do everything by ourselves, and I'll figure it out. No, you never figured it out before, and you're not going to figure it out in the future. You need to find somebody who can help you solve your problems. And so, ultimately, the higher power is necessary. And yeah, the higher power's representatives via the speakers of truth, the saints, and ultimately a teacher is the recommended process in the Vedas. But if you're not humble, if you can't do the proper shishya, your job to be a proper disciple, no chance. So that's the good luck thing. But we don't want that. We want everyone to become humble and realize that hey, let's see what we can do here. Let's see how I can make adjustments to be more humble and realize that, okay, I'm a mess. And it's good, it's liberating to say, oh, I'm a mess. And to actually admit that I'm a mess and that somebody else can help me. It's not, I don't have to figure out all of my own problems by myself. You don't. Krishna's always waiting with his messages. You read Bhagavad Gita, I mean, just that alone, just regular hearing of these messages, it cleanses you like crazy. So anyhow, I must stop everyone now because we only have 5 minutes left and we should do some last kirtan. Mukunda, were we planned for an arti? Oh my God. All right. So I hope you guys don't mind that we'll go a little over because we're going to do an arti. If you're in a rush out of here, the food is all ready, and so grab a plate and then go if you must. But I need this. We're going to all chant together. We'll do a little bhajan, which is called Jaya Radha Madhava. It's a nice bhajan. Yes, you can. Thank you who joined online.